Welcome back to a very late night episode of Animal Crossing New Horizons. I'm dear darling, as you see what's going on our lovely island of Fawnhallow today. And did I forget that I didn't record an Animal Crossing episode today? Yes. Yes, I did. To be fairly obvious, not fairly obvious, fairly transparent. So here we are now, much later than I intended to record, but nonetheless, it's not like we haven't had our fair share of late night episodes and short ones. So, can you hear me? Come on, here with a late night broadcast. Right now, it should be 1:40 AM on Friday, July 25th, 2025. I can turn up my volume on my microphone so you can hear me better even if I'm whispering. But yeah, what can we talk about today? There's not really much for me to talk about, in the sense that I don't think I've done anything particularly crazy or anything. I'm reading this article right now about Metroidbrainias, which is a very sort of niche, specific genre of puzzle game, which I enjoy quite a lot. But it's basically a Metroidbrainia where you're gated by knowledge, more so than you're gated by actual mechanics of a game. So, you know, like your blueprints, your witnesses. I don't know what other games. There's probably a lot of others out there, which I do want to play at some point, but just haven't really had the opportunity to. But it's actually like a pretty cool and interesting breakdown. I will say, what I prefer in video form, probably. I don't know, I feel like video form is easier to digest, but maybe that's me just sort of being lazy and not reading, you know? In which I only have myself to blame for that regard. But yeah, I mean, I've got nothing against a sort of interesting news article. I do think it's kind of rare nowadays for me to actually read a proper gaming article. Especially me to read one and be like, oh, you know, it's actually genuinely, like, well thought out and put together an analysis. Who wrote it? I don't know. Let me see. It's on thinkygames.com, which is a website I've never heard of before, but there you go, if you're curious in reading it yourself. But yeah, I love my sort of like video game analyses, and especially for what has essentially been my favourite game genre, I think, in most recent days. I should probably look up, like, what other sort of top Metroidbrainias are there? Apart from, you know, like, blueprints and whatever. There's a whole subreddit for it, which seems wild. I would say Metroidbrainia, pretty good pun name. Play of course, of Brain and Metroidvania. My list of Metroidbrainas, including smaller and more obscure ones, okay? I want well-known ones. Outer Wilds and EOTE. What's EOTE? Edge of the Empire. Outer Wilds. It stands for Fear of Missing Out. What? Oh, it's an expansion. Tunic, play that one. Witness, play that one. Antichamber. That's true, actually. I haven't played that one. I'm surprised Blueprints is on. Oh, it probably wasn't released yet. Vision Soft Reset. I've never heard of this one. But yeah, I mean, I have a good appreciation for these sort of games, because, I mean, this looks like it could be an interesting game. I'm going to put it on my list. It is, I think, probably my favourite genre of video game at the moment. But yeah, if you don't know what Metroidbrainia is, it's basically a Metroidvania, which is a game defined by exploration, but areas being gated off because of requirement of gadgets or abilities or upgrades or something. Metroidbrainia is sort of unique in that sense, where it's not gated by actual mechanics. It's gated off by knowledge, where it's such that, like, if you find, like, essentially a door, you could walk through it if you just knew what the key was. You don't have to find the key necessarily. I mean, you do in, like, a conceptual sense. But if you actually knew what the key is, you can just walk on through. Which is very interesting as a concept. I guess it's kind of like an escape room in some ways. And there's actually more nuance to it, which the article talks about, like how the gates can be different, you know. You know, there's a difference between, say, like a combination lock where you need to find out a combination compared to, you know, like a door and a witness where it's like you don't know the mechanics of a puzzle. And that makes things interesting in its own right. I mean, you know, I like my puzzle games. I'm not too keen on the exploration games. It's surprising that Metroidbrainia, I think, has that sort of appeal to me. I guess not all of them really do. But I think it's like the concept which really plays to me right now. Or maybe it's just Blueprints has consumed all my thoughts at the moment. Like, I'll be 100% honest, I've been wanting to record some games, but I'm like, the only game I want to play right now is Blueprints. And it's, I'm not going to say it's a shame, but I've restricted myself to only playing it on the Sunday streams, but it does mean that there's plenty of times where I'm just like, if I could, I would have absolutely booted it up right now and like recorded an episode. And if anything, I think it is a good thing though, I'm playing on the stream. I think it does feel like a nicer stream game in that sense. Mainly because seeing people's reactions live is always quite fun. And plus, people in chat can be my eyes. Especially when I miss gemstones and things like that. But yeah. I mean, you got to have appreciation, I think, for the genre. By sheer fact it's got like a very punny name to it in the first place, you know. Puns are already like a bonus point or something. Although I suppose some of them probably do get tiresome, you know, roguelike. The tiny distinction between them is probably a bit much, but yeah. Anyway, I know this all spawns from this one article which I haven't even finished reading yet, so it's probably like a bit strange for me to be talking about it. But I mean, I read like the first part of it and I was like, this is actually very interesting. And then, you know, I went to do other stuff, and then I've only like just recently realised I still have a tab open and I need to finish reading the article. I need to finish reading the like essay thing that I talked about yesterday that a friend wrote for me. Well, I need to do a lot of things, to be honest. But yeah, I don't know, is there a genre I play the most? Probably not, but what else is there? Lingo game. Steam? Is this it? Metroidbrainia? I mean, it's got decent reviews, but it's not Doki Doki. Communicating badly and then acting smug when you're misunderstood is not cleverness. I don't know, it's still recommended. Sensorium. Steam. Small open world puzzle game. They all have a very similar vibe, don't they? To a sort of anti-chamber feel to them. Short and fun. Sylvie Miniature. Oh, gone home? What? I didn't think this was a Metroidbrainia game. I thought it was a horror game. I don't know. I feel like I want things more like Blueprints, to be honest, but Blueprints is such like a rare thing to find. The chances then are interesting. Heaven's Vault, Steam World Dig, what? Superland I think I actually have, I just haven't played through. I didn't realise it's a Metroidbrainia. Tunic, well I mean I played Tunic. I wrote this big analysis of Metroidbrainia games. Oh, this is literally the article I'm reading right now. Exit Grapher. Blueprints. Type help? A lot of them say they're inspired by Oberdin, to be honest. Like, maybe I should finish reading this article, and this article would just give me a load of recommendations, surely. which I gotta, kind of appreciate. In a sense, right, of compiling it together. See, the thing is though, I almost want someone to sort of compile together, because there's a very interesting thing that we talk about is the fact that there's often many routes which lead to a puzzle solution, which leads to very interesting stories between people, where it's just like, oh, how did you find this way solution? I found it this way. Oh, I found it a completely different way. That part is, I think, one of the more interesting parts to me. And one thing I know I want to do after Blueprints is like finished, or I've solved most of it, is I definitely want to find like someone analysing all the different routes you can take to find these different secrets, all the different ways you can pick up on certain clues. Because I think genuinely it'd be very, very fascinating to see. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. And also, I don't know how long it will take me to do Blueprints. Because my friend, she said it took 90 hours, right? Which is probably about 30 streams. Which is what? Almost a year of streams. That seems, it's like just under 8 months of streams. That seems like a lot. Not that I wouldn't stick with a game for that long, but probably at a certain point I'd be like, I need to stream more often to actually get this game finished. Otherwise I'm going to go insane. Like never finishing it. I don't know. I mean, I have been pretty tempted this week to be like, you know what, I'll just sort of stream. But then I didn't. And I don't know what you might make of that, to be honest. You might be like, it's very much one thing to say that you want to stream, and very much another to not actually do it. I don't know. It's hard on a weekday, I think. It's a bit more exhausting, you know. But come Sunday, I think it's fired up. Like, I've been thinking a lot about Blueprints and certain things which have been turning over in my head. Certainly things as well. I've also, like, had a glance at some of my previous videos and made, like, a mental note of some things. Like, I think one thing I've definitely made a mental note of is the secret garden. Because I've only ever got the secret garden key, I think, once. So it's a very rare opportunity. But so it was something, I'll talk a lot about it aloud here, I'll talk about it on my stream as well, but something I was thinking about at the end, not the end of last stream, but like during last stream as well, I was like, I can't believe I've yet to stumble upon the secret garden room. It's not that it's impossible, certainly not, but like there's so many... I've drafted so many rooms by this point, you would have thought that room which was mentioned to me very early on and I got a key for, I would have found it by now. But somehow I've yet to. So part of me is sort of just like, I must have to do something else to actually get the secret garden, right? I don't know if maybe it's legitimately in the garden, maybe it's not a room you can draft, but the thing which made me think of it again was the gardener's logbook says it is a room you can draft, and you can only draft on the outskirts of a house, like in most green rooms. So why have I not found it yet? Is it really just that rare? I don't know. But that's what makes it so fascinating. That's why I want to dive back in the game and like try and actually get the secret garden key again and try and actually find the secret garden. Like maybe it only spawns when you have a key in your inventory or something. Because otherwise you can't unlock it. I don't know. It's like these theories you want to test but I can't. Anyway. I really want to talk more about Metroidbrainia, but unfortunately it's also like 2 AM, so I think I'll probably just round this episode up here. So I apologise for a late night episode, but if you have been watching, thank you very much. Spend Animal Crossing New Horizons. I've been Dear Darling. Likes, comments, subscription, shares, greatly appreciated. Socials, Discord down below. Hope to see each other again, but for now, it's our farewell. So until next time, bye bye for now.